It's not even the WWE, bro. It's the parent company. Bro, everything is a money grab. Everything is can we sell tickets to a match of the year show? Can we get a sponsor for a match? Like everything they're doing just feels like a money grab. Nothing feels sincere anymore, bro.
What's going on, everybody? This is Dr. Chris Featherstone for another episode of the Wrestling Outlaws. I am here with the Outlaws themselves. We got former three-time heavyweight champion, two-time TNA champion, one-time NWA World Heavyweight Champion. That makes him an EC, three-time World Heavyweight Champion. And we also have former WCW World Heavyweight Champion, who is undefeated against a certain legend who gets upset when we mention his name. So I'll just say a certain legend undefeated against him, and that's Vince Russo.
Yeah, bro, I'm supposed to keep a lot of people's names out of my mouth.
Yes,
or else yes. I'm gonna be in big trouble, man.
Big legal trouble.
Comment below if you want to see Vince Russo manage me in Juggalo Championship Wrestling, because that was the green room conversation. So just comment below.
Yeah, that'd be awesome, man.
All kinds of green room.
Oh, dude, we getting like some Fago mess where I'm like going around and you're like, what's going on?
Love it.
People are throwing darts and knives and gun bullets at us. It's
yes,
gonna be great.
It's going to be fantastic. Let's talk about, speaking of matches, matches are now being included into the WWE Hall of Fame. So a mortal match right now. The first inductee is WrestleMania 13, Bret Hart versus Steve Austin. That was the breaking. That was the breaking moment. That was really kind of like the threshold crossing of Steve Austin, where we get the big blood clip and basically a double turn in many ways with that. And so yeah, that was the advent of Austin 316 in many ways. And so there you go. I mean, of course, the King of the Ring, but that really was the baby face kind of revolutionary moment. Well, let's start with you, Vince Russo. Go ahead, EC3.
Can I start, because he was actually there?
Absolutely.
I hate to impose, but I think he's going to have a better story than me. That match is so freaking good. It's like watching it back now with what wrestling has become, and that's what it is. And I think you see the backstage footage of the documentaries, and it's like, or even the stories, yeah, they were talking about it. Where like Steve and Bret just sat on the ring for like 20 minutes, talked about what they're going to do. All right, see you out there. And then went out there. They didn't even really have an angle going. It was kind of thrown together, if I remember. But like, if you want to be a wrestler, watch that. Not for the moves or the spots, but for the like physicality and the intensity and the believability. There's no such thing as a perfect match, but if there was, well, that would have my Hall of Fame vote.
There you go. Vince, take us back to the match between Bret Hart and Steve Austin. What was the end game goal with that? And clearly it worked because it's in the Hall of Fame now. And after that, Vince, what is your take on matches becoming in the Hall of Fame now?
Well, when you talk about that match again, bro, you cannot talk about that match without Pat Patterson. You know, Pat was Bret's go-to guy. Without every single Bret Hart match, every single match, Bret went right to Pat. So you've got to talk about Pat when you talk about that match. And again, bro, maybe the greatest psychology of any match in the history of wrestling. Absolutely unbelievable, off the charts. But, you know, bro, I just got to tell you, with the WWE, and it's not even the WWE, bro, it's the parent company. Bro, everything is a money grab. Everything is can we sell tickets to a match of the year show? Can we get a sponsor for a match? Like everything they're doing just feels like a money grab. Nothing feels sincere anymore, bro. And again, that's why, like, bro, I know a lot of people don't have a lot of things to say, a lot of good things to say about Vince McMahon. But I mean, my God, bro, Vince just was not a money whore like this company is. He just wasn't. And we're seeing what's happening now with, WrestleMania. I think 9,000 tickets are not sold. And it's only I mean, and again, we've talked about it slowly but surely catching up. So that's why when they do things like this, my mind just immediately goes to, bro, just another opportunity for them to make more money. That's it.
I mean, to your point, Vince, they've got the WrestleMania After Dark with the ridiculous amount of packages, after. So you're already spending $3,000 to $4,000 on two people for WrestleMania. And now you have to buy a $500 package to see someone at a WrestleMania After Dark. So it's just like someone can go in there and easily spend 10 grand on the weekend. Easy.
I'm sorry, what's WrestleMania After Dark?
It's like a big disco thing.
Yeah,
right?
It's a post show and they're having comedy thing, and it's a whole deal. But the packages with the wrestlers is like $300 to $500.
Could you just throw these poor fans a bone, man? Yeah. The interest is there to sell out WrestleMania 2 nights in a row, especially with like Cena and Cody and all that. They sell it out based on whatever, but I'm so disconnected with like reality that I don't understand the gravitas of this ticket pricing until, like you just said, what, $2,000 to $3,000 to $4,000 for two tickets?
Yeah.
Like, I've done okay. And I couldn't imagine spending $2,000 to $4,000 on anything short of like Prince coming back from the dead and doing a duet with Queen. I mean,
very nice,
really sweet. But that's too bad. And then you wonder if it's crunch time and they don't sell out. Is there going to be a fire sale, or are people going to be upset? Is that going to dissuade the fan base going further? Is this a lesson? Like Vince makes a good point with Vince wasn't he's definitely driven by money and success, but he wasn't the money grabbing whore where it's like when you have you have a relationship and the person has flaws, and then it comes to a point it's just not going to work. And then you think you're better off with the new one, but now it's revealing all the other things that you actually liked about your former ex. And then somebody's calling somebody back, aren't they? Eventually. It always happens. They always come back. Chris, they always come back.
I would love to hear your psychology of sell as many tickets as you possibly can at a lower price, or sell fewer tickets at a much more expensive price. I would love to hear your psychology. I'm the guy, and I think EC3 is too, running his own promotion. I think he agrees with me. I'm the guy. Make the tickets affordable and let's bring in as many people as possible. I'm that guy. The more people, the merrier. The more people are going to see the product. The more people are going to tell other people about that. I'm that guy. But it's obvious the road they're going down is, so what if there's 9,000 tickets left because of the price of tickets? We made more money than we would have made if we had sold out. So I would love to hear the psychology behind that.
Yeah, I think when it comes from a business perspective, we've seen wrestling go from more of a attraction to a business. And so when you think of attraction, you think of hear ye, come on to the tent. Tickets for $2. Come on. So you're bringing all the people. It's that P.T. Barnum type of deal. You want to bring everybody to the tent, right? And so back, like wrestling for decades, it was bring everybody to the tent, right? And now, since it's turned so business, then you have to consider the scarcity effect. And so the scarcity effect is, a sense of urgency. And a lot of times people, it's like you don't want to miss out. So they usually bump up the value, even if it's self-imposed, because of the urgency factor of you don't want to miss out. And I think, you know, when you have celebrity endorsements and when you're doing all these celebrity things, you've got, you know, just middle income, everyday people saying, oh man, I get to rub shoulders with whoever's next to me. Look, I'm in the same row as this rapper. I'm in the same row as this actor. I'm in the same floor area as this NBA star. So that alone, and having a picture of being a few rows next to an NBA star in this particular culture now, people use that as like some type of poster. They blow it up and put a poster, you know, in their room. And so because of that scarcity and that type of association type of deal, even if it's what's called parasocial, those things factor in quite a bit when it comes to what we see in pro wrestling nowadays.
Interesting.